Hello, and welcome to the Thanksgiving Eve live drawing. My name's Ian Chase Nichols. I've worked on books like The Tick for almost 10 years, actually over 10 years, now that I think of it. Um, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Red Sonja, Conan, all kinds of stuff. But what I've been working on for the past basically almost 2 years is Undersea Hero, and we're getting very close to hitting the print button. I'm waiting on a couple of things that are going to be really big. Hopefully, that comes through. There'd be really big surprises that people will be really excited about. So I can't really. I want to keep that a surprise. I've shown every step of the process. Like if you go through my YouTube channel, you can see everything from pencils to inks to colors to lettering, it's all there. You can see different steps of me making this book. That this is a rough early draft from an editorial copy, but you can see it's 72 pages. We've got some great variant covers by Craig Rousseau and Joe St. Pierre and Rich Woodall. And here's our cover gallery that appears in the book. Um, and they just did, incredible covers for me. Hey, Jonathan, good to see you, man. Ever closer to hitting the print button. You know the secret. Don't spill the beans. I shared one of the things we're waiting on with you. So, but it'll be worth it when they come through. Um, but I'm working on the original art rewards because I of course promised an original pen and ink drawing for the early birds, and I've got about 7 or 8 done. We've got to get 20 altogether. These are ones that I've started. I'm actually going to start a new one tonight. I've been struggling with my form lately, and even here you can see where, like, if you look at the pencil drawing where I started and where I was inking, it was better today. So with my form being better today, I'd like to start a new drawing. I'll finish these off. I'll work on them tomorrow on the holiday or whatever. I've got a couple of different ideas I've been playing with. But we're going to start a new one tonight. And the golden ticket, yes. I have reached out to a few conventions for next year, so hopefully we have some announcements to make pertaining to that as time progresses. I'll be working on new stuff, I guess. But let's get something started here. I'd like to do a whole figure instead of just a little partial one on this one. So let's get our form. Let's have it going this way. Yes, Little Giant Comic Con. Working with the promoter there on a surprise, an Undersea Hero related surprise for that show. I haven't looked at the guest list, but generally some of the folks that did the variant covers for me have appeared at that show. So that'll be a good show. And I honestly, as I've said many times, it's my speed of show. It's the size of show I like. It's got incredible vendors, and they have just good old books. It's about comics and artists, and it's the perfect size for a one-day show in that venue at the arena up in Concord. Try and remember the name of the arena if I can think of it without looking it up. I don't know if I can. Everett Arena. Look at that. That's a pull. That's a pull right there. Everett Arena up in Concord, New Hampshire. I usually go up the night before. It's a show that it's not a hard setup, but like Jason, the promoter, is he wants it set up and ready to go early enough so that they can have the inspection go through, make sure everybody's in their spots, and it's ready for the VIPs, which I appreciate. That is a no prize poll. Thank you, thank you. Everett Arena. Yeah. It comes from typing it into the GPS, I guess. I don't even need the GPS to get there anymore. And I kind of have a routine the morning of the show. There's an Einstein Brothers bagel that's nearby because I get there so early. It's before like the local bakery even opens. There's a bakery called The Works that does really good bagels. So if anybody's there just as an attendee, I highly recommend The Works for a bagel before the show. Look at that. The form is so much better than I was. I've been struggling with some drawing lately just because I've been doing all production work. I've been doing all the production work. So. Happy Thanksgiving, Martha's. Does anybody have any good traditions that they have? I mean, for me, I usually just go for a nice run as long as the weather is nice and we cook a bunch of food and my mother-in-law will come visit or we'll go see family or what before I got married, I never had a holiday like familial obligations because my family, uh, by birth, is all spread throughout the country. Like they're all over the place. So we were never close enough together to require the multiple visits or whatever. That was never a thing. Oh, thank you. No worries. I'm sure it'll be awesome. There's a small hotel. The convention has a block of rooms at a hotel for Little Giant, and I haven't stayed at that hotel because there's a true hotel. It's called TRU Hotel. It's like a small chain that's a little further outside of town, and it's a little less expensive. Um, so I stay there and I drive over in the morning. It's a good deal. So I recommend it to people. It's clean, it's safe, it's easy to get to and from the arena. Um, again, these are folks that don't pay me, so take the recommendations for what they're worth. I started reading that graphic novel, the Will Eisner biography by Dan Mazer and his writing partner there, and I apologize, I can't remember his name. I just know I've known Danny forever, so. And it's a beautiful book. It is. Christmas cards. Do you draw all your Christmas cards? I remember when I used to do that. I used to draw Christmas cards for everybody, hand draw them. Or do you do one and get them printed? Is that how you do yours? A making of the drawing? Yeah, of course. Good for you. That's very kind of you to do drawings for people like that. The you'll forgive me, the back end of my restream software here looks like they did an update, so um, it took me a little bit to get it to go this time. I wish they would warn us um, when they would do that. But yeah, if you post it, send me a link. If there's, I would love to check it out. Yeah, whatever you think is fair. I appreciate the plug. That would be very nice of you. I've mostly been, as far as my drawing time goes, like I haven't had much time to sit down and finish a drawing from like start to finish. I've been doing just drills. Uh, and that's what I took a picture of today for the announcement. Like I'll just draw heads and hands and all kinds of stuff just to get my brain working. And if anybody's watching the Bruins game, if you folks want to keep me up to date on the score, that would be great. They're playing the Islanders, and they got to play up against Matthew Barzal and those characters down in New York. Friday, yes, I will be working Friday. Yeah. You get the day off. Got my tea here, my Ninja Turtles cup. It's a blackberry cinnamon tea. Go to the grocery store, it's called like Sugar Balance, but it's just an herbal tea that has blackberry leaves and cinnamon, and I believe it's a chamomile base. I did see a very inexpensive. Yeah, we do get a lot of. I've never had so many holidays off though in my life, so I'm not gonna complain. Although this year, we do get, what is it? The Friday. Christmas is on a Thursday. I do get the Friday after Christmas off, so that's nice. I won't complain about that. It's a little bit of an awkward crop on this, but like again, it's a sketch. Hey, Dr. Mask pops in. Nice. How are things in your neighborhood? I think you've got a new project cooking. If you want to plug that, you're welcome to. Hey, Kevin. Hey, good to see you. I think you still owe me what you call it, survey. I think you still have to fill out your survey. Um, we are waiting for one big surprise, which the deadline for the person to get it to us is the end of this week. Um, and then they are off to the printer. So the hope is to get stuff in time to get things mailed in the mail before the end of the year. So some people might get it for Christmas, others it might be after. Because again, I'm like packing and shipping them all by myself. So it's although I did our friend Jonathan said that I could rope him into helping me pack. So trying to get all the early bird sketches done. I've got about half of them done. I've got to get about 8 or 9 more finished. But happy Thanksgiving to you. So yeah, once I get the main books ordered, which will be this weekend, that'll be the main issue with my cover, and then all 4 variants. Those are getting all ordered at once. I spent the last like weekend and time thereafter uploading everything to the printer, making sure that the print files were ready, making sure pages are in order, going through all that stuff. They make you do it for each subsequent issue. This back end doesn't have it to where each one, if you upload one book and then have variant covers, that you can just upload a variant cover. They make you upload the whole book for each full project. So I've had to upload all 72 pages for all of the covers and then look at each one at a time and go through the whole thing. So I'm hoping, to find a convention out in Colorado that would throw me a table. I was looking at maybe Denver, but I don't know. Maybe if there's another better show or a better thing to do. I'm all ears. I would trust your recommendations. And happy Thanksgiving to Sharon too, if you're still here, Kevin. Lose my voice a little bit. It was a busy day. I do have to do follow-ups on the surveys because there's about 20 people that haven't done it yet, and most of them are people I know. So there's one person who shows up here, our friend Patrick, um, who actually backed without reward. So I might try to at least send him the digital book if he doesn't. I don't know if he's around tonight. I don't know if you can tell, but just the form of all the shapes fitting together on this drawing let me show you it for comparison. Compared to this one, can you see the difference in like the tightness of the joints? The bends are more intentional. There's a much greater sense of form than there is on this piece. And this was drawn 2 days ago or 3 days ago now. Part of it was done before, and I was struggling just to get the forms together. Oh, thanks, Kevin. And then this, just the shape, like the overall shape, the angle, there's a lot more intent to it. There's a lot more intent. It's a more vital drawing. I don't know. Just drawing better today than I have been for the past week. And it's because I've been doing all the production work that is like after you draw it, after you color it, after you letter it, after you scan it, after you do all of the step by step of each page, like there's still lots of work to be done. The Thank you. Yeah, it's just better. I was just struggling, and I didn't have very much confidence, and just trying to. Um, I appreciate that, Martha. Knowing when there's something wrong, but not entirely sure how to fix it is some of the artists struggle. I got to make sure I got the proportions right on the head, because for Undersea Hero, the bottom of the nose is the middle of the head, so the chin goes down to about here. The stretch goals, the cover prints have shipped, so those are all printed. Those are on their way here. And the making of zine is printed, but it has not shipped yet when I looked at it. So those should be here next week too. So anyone who just got the book, you get the book. There was the Paul story level, which meant you didn't get any stretch goals. But if you got the book, it meant you got that. You got the cover prints. Okay, I'll see if I can see what's going on the back end for you, Kevin. At the very least, I can, DM you for your shipping address, which is really the biggest question on the whole thing. So, cover prints, you get the ocean print, which has the water from both the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. You get the zine, and then you get the field guide. And then every book comes with a note and a box doodle. So for what was it, $32 for the whole thing, you get a 72 page book. You get these 4 prints, you get this print, you get this laminated piece, you get another book, and then you get the little doodle. So I think I think that's pretty good value. I don't know anymore. I was looking at some of the stretch goals for some of these massive Kickstarters that are going on right now, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and like there was one where like the 100,000 stretch goal, they just got like a photocopy of like a fake dollar bill. I was like, wow, okay. I can safely say that my stretch goals were better than a photocopy of a dollar bill that said 100,000 on it, and then it was like some sort of uh, fake bank from inside the thing. Got the incentive level with your fish. I'll check the back end. I'll take a look. Because I think only one person got that, and I didn't think it was yours. I'll check it for you. I got no problem. They have like a whole report thing that's got everybody's name and what they got for me, which is nice on the back end. The organization of the rewards, since I spent all that time programming the campaign, the spreadsheets on the back end are really helpful and useful. And for some reason, I think you got artwork. Yeah, I don't remember. I was very lucky that I had enough backers that I couldn't memorize them all. I do think that there is some of the. My friend Joe St. Pierre and I have talked about this. There's some of that where like the creators that support each other, we all want each other to make our stuff, but it's like we're giving each other the same $20. We just loan it to each other to like give to printers. I actually missed a Kickstarter that I would have backed if I had just not slept on it. Was that Dean Haspiel had a new Kickstarter for his like Red Hook and Brooklyn-based characters. I think Dino is one of the best cartoonists out there right now. So it does sound like you. I think you got artwork. Hey Desiree, good to see you. Hope you're recuperating from all of your stuff. I think you had to have eye surgery or something that you posted about. There was some sort of medical thing that was scary. Probably true. Yeah, we all are just loaning each other money for the printer. That's it. I've just gotten honestly with my friends cataracts. That's what it was. Yeah. I hope you're feeling better. Martha says we'd have our own crypto to pay each other. I just work on trade with my friends, and we, kind of keep a running tab of like, hey, you did a pinup for me, I'll do a pinup for you, or a cover, or I'll write you a story, or I'll do some production work, and we just keep money out of it at this point for the most part. Like my buddy Jeff, I did a cover for Planet Comics, and he helped me with my stuff. He's just like I love the system we have, the collaborative support system. Like I know that doesn't pay the rent, and sometimes that good. You can see better. Um, I need you to see all my spelling mistakes. It's totally selfish. That's all it was. Desiree was kind enough to. Oh no, Kevin tore his Achilles. But Desiree was kind enough to be an editorial helper on Undersea Hero, so she found some of my whoopsies, I would call them. Let's get our light source. Let's have it going this way so we can have heavier shadows than normal. Because we want to frame the face with the shadow. Yeah, I had no idea, Kevin. I was not at San Diego. I hope that it was. I hope they were able to. If it was at the Comic Con, I hope they were able to get you to the hospital and take good care of you. I've seen their emergency people jump into action before, so I hope they swooped in. And I apologize, but I'm picturing you losing a grip of one of your beautiful sketchbooks, and it's flying through the air, and the emergency person catches it. He's like, "I'm here to help." I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I say that Kevin has these beautiful sketchbooks that he brings around and has uh, artists draw in them, and they're just these incredible like custom made things. And it's the kind of thing where it's like it it's intimidating just in itself as an artifact, and then when you look at all the other artists that are in there, it's like, "Oh, okay, you gotta step up your game on this one. If you want people to notice you, you gotta try to draw something good." And Kevin actually hit me up for the first time when I was in what I call my tall period, and I was drawing these very elongated figures, and, I still have an affinity for that period. There was something to it. I don't know if I ever got it to where it should have gotten to, but it had an energy to it. There are some earlier periods of work I look at. Over 675 sketches. Look at that. See, and I see that, and I'm like, man, I should start a sketchbook. That's what I should do. I should, instead of just getting things on paper, I should be more organized, and it'll be cool to flip through and all that stuff. And I don't know. I never committed to it and got around to it. I just have to. I know it's not too late. I can maybe do that this year. I'd want to find us because you have those beautiful books. I would want to find like a mixed media paper or a way to custom bind some Bristol so it's good paper for people to do what they need to do on it. There's nothing worse than getting a sketchbook with crummy paper, other than maybe the crummy sketch covers, like the first ones that, what was that one that was real bad? The Captain America one that had like the little square on it. It was shaped like this, and it had a black border. And there was this one guy who used to, he passed away, and he collected only sketch covers on this paper stock, and it said, Captain America. And it was just this waxy, plasticky stuff. As long as they have solid paper in them, seriously. Like, and some of those black leather bound sketch covers have good paper in them. Yeah, that early Fallen Sun, is that what it was? Captain America Fallen Sun? Those were those sketch covers. And then there was the really, really early ones from Dynamite that were like drawing on plastic. And I've always like I'll order on eBay. Like there's a few vendors that have these deals where they'll just send you a mystery bundle of sketch covers for, $30 or whatever. And I'll get them and I'll still try to use them, but inevitably I just get frustrated. Dr. Mask says first sketchbook was a little better than newsprint. I worry about them deteriorating over time. I mean, as long as it's kept, flat and closed or whatever, I think the paper will be okay. It just depends what they drew on it with. If it was all Sharpies, those things will probably disappear. Or even though I love them, flare pens. I actually got this not too long ago. This is a refillable Kiritaki brand marker pen, and it's a lot like a flare pen, except I can fill it with India ink, so it will last forever. And it has that same feel to it. It's nice. Kevin says he has a company in Wisconsin makes his books, and then they would like the pages to stand up better to watercolors. Yeah, that's tough. The mixed media Strathmore paper is what the representatives from Strathmore had told both Dan Brereton and myself at different times replaced the wet media aspects of Bristol board. Um, and that's why Bristol is, even the heavy stuff, doesn't hold up to watercolor anymore, or even ink wash is a little tough. You got to move quick and you got to not do heavy washes. That's why a lot of people have switched to the Eon boards. I know that's what like Mateo uses, Scalera. I'm just so glad that the printing is near, and I'm I am forever nervous until they show up and they look okay because I can tell you the horror stories of all horror stories of like ordering books and then they show up and then there's either a misprint or something goes wrong or they get destroyed in transit. I have a friend that we all know and I it's his story to tell and I think he put it into a blog, but I don't want to. He got his books printed and he met them at a convention. Like he was getting them shipped to the convention and he was not seeing them before the show, which admittedly is a risk, but he had done it before, no problem. And he got to the show, and this show was his biggest show of the year, and it paid for a good chunk of his like it would like get him through the winter basically, you know. Um, and he opens up the first box, and the books are printed manga style backwards. So like they flip open instead of opening, you know, here's our print copy. Instead of opening this way, this would be the front and they open this way. And he's sitting on the floor of the convention center and he's just opening box after box after box, just hoping that maybe one of them will be correct. And none of them were correct. And like it's just stuff like that. And I guess it has made me somewhat superstitious about it. Kevin asks, "Who's cooking tomorrow?" This time, actually, Camille wants to take the lead on the protein, and she's going to make a braised lamb shank, actually. And I'll do this time. I'll do the sous chefing, so I'll be peeling potatoes and that kind of stuff, which I have no problem doing that at all. I'm thrilled that she wants to do it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure it'll be delicious. Are you chefing or is it going to be Sharon or is it a team effort? I'm sure you'll have some of those phenomenal cookies that you folks always have. Yeah, very ambitious. Going for it. I'm in full support. Kevin says if it's edible, I have no part in it. We've done different things in a year. I think we did a roast last year. We've done seafood. We've done ham. It just depends. We were never really a big. We didn't. We were not required to have turkey for the meal. Um, my father and mother were forced to eat poorly cooked turkey for most of their adolescence, and then when they had the ability to change that destiny, they did. Um, I have sampled said turkey when we had to go to my grandparents' house for 1 year when my grandfather had like a minor stroke, like his first minor stroke, and it was a thing that I did. The turkey was very very dry, and but it was important we were there. So it was not really about the food. So it was. Yeah, my grandfather had like a series of like minor strokes as he got older. It was funny. He was interested in learning about what I like to read at one point, and he would read basically exclusively nonfiction to this point, as far as I knew. And then he saw I was reading like these little, like paperback sci-fi novels, like little just. I mean, I've got one in my bag right now, an Arthur Clarke novel that I hadn't read. Um, and he would not read that sort of thing during the day. He would save that reading time for, what he would consider like real reading, and that would be his, history books and nonfiction stuff. But he would read basically any science fiction book that I read after dinner. He was such a voracious reader, he would read anything and everything. And it gave us something to talk about. And he really like cared about that, and it was really cool when I was a kid. And I really liked talking to him about the books because he obviously had read a million books, and he didn't like so much the really cheesy ones or like even the Star Trek novels, that kind of stuff. But I would read any sort of short sci-fi paperback when I was a teenager. So Desiree says, hanging out with friends. Don't know what we will have this year except for the dessert. I'm bringing chocolate pumpkin pie. Chocolate. Hey, that sounds pretty good. I've never had chocolate pumpkin pie. I've only ever had the classic. Like, what is it? Is it sweeter, or is it, what's the, or is it more like cocoa-y? I don't know. I'm fascinated. As Martin Prince would say, tell me more. Now, see, the form on that is just so much better than the way I was drawn before. It's got a few little things we got to fix, but that's okay. Okay, new recipe. Let me know how it goes. Do you do it with whipped cream? I was wondering how Hammerhead was doing. If you guys are doing a zillion shows, or if are you guys doing online sales yet? You can always plug your stuff. My friends are free to plug. Did you finish sorting that crazy Golden Age collection that you got? It's like all old stuff. It was in totes, I think. Okay, whipped cream. I like pumpkin pie. I do. I'm not a big fan of like all things pumpkin, but who doesn't like pumpkin pie? I'll tell you the secret. This would be the Yulebrecht and Nichols family recipe for pumpkin pie. It's the same recipe that's on the Libby pumpkin container, except you double all the spices. So you double the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the cloves. You double all that. All sorted and mostly gone. Wow. Yeah, I'd love to pick your brain at some point about the state of vending comics in today's world. All right. Let's take a look. Let's reverse it. I think we're doing okay. Yeah. Things are plugging right along here. Now, I don't remember when you said you got that. Did you pick out some that was for your collection, or was like, this is all going, this is all part of the business, this is all getting sold? Because you have like every Aquaman ever. Although I don't know, do you have the More Fun first appearance, the Paul Norris? I know you have an original drawing by Paul Norris, which that's wild. For folks that don't know, Paul Norris is the creator of Aquaman with Mort Weisinger and the other person. Oh, nice. Michael's working on a winter season. Ah, yes, the solstice card. I saw that. Yeah, that's very cool. That's a good idea. A nice thing to do. You know how it is. There's less sunlight. People need a nice thing to look forward to. I bought these crummy fine liners at like a Five Below just because I wanted to draw while I was out and I was at a Five Below. And while I say crummy, I don't think I would use them for a finished illustration, but I've used them for tons of sketching. So I feel like if I was on a budget or I was learning to draw, that would be fine. Oh, this is that box. Yeah, $4.25. There's not even a brand on it. These are artist pens. Distributed by 1616 Holdings. Yeah. If I had never used fine liners before, or I was learning, this would be good. You have the second appearance. Yeah, it's crazy. That is a crazy book. I've only ever, I've seen them occasionally at shows, and there was only ever one time where in the last, I would say 15 years, I saw a raw one. They've all the ones I've seen have been graded, so they're all asking for the moon on them. And it was funny. I've talked to art dealers, and I've talked to, I just saw a video from a dealer that I know of him talking about the books that are the hardest to move. And of course, he brought up Aquaman. And I have to look at like what they're asking for on them versus how many people seriously collect Aquaman. And I've talked about this with a couple of art dealers, and for a while, DC art in general was cheaper than, and I think it still is. I think you could still get a decent DC page for less than a Marvel page. I don't know if that's changing with the way the movies have changed, but for a while that was the case. And DC Comics themselves were kind of lagging behind Marvel as far as the resale value goes. But I do hear that like those old comics, like the Golden Age stuff, that the market has increased for them. I've heard that from multiple sources. That's true. Yep, Green Arrow's first appearance. Yeah, Green Arrow. Is it Dr. Fate's? He's on the cover. Is it Dr. Fate's first appearance too? I bought the repro of it, but I believe, and this is based on my research and experience, that I believe those pages were redrawn. And if they weren't redrawn, they're from highly, highly distorted stats. Because so many pages, I don't know if anybody is aware of this. Take a look on the internet, and you can see that like some of the early like Supermans and stuff, they've admitted like the pages were redrawn or traced off of stats or blown up and retraced or redrawn. And they did that for some of the essentials. I know for Marvel too, they would have the pages re-inked or whatever. So of course they're going to look different. And then there's some of the covers that were done for reprints were redone. It's just fascinating. Okay, all right. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen one that was not graded. And I'm trying to remember the number the guy had on it. It was something like 20K, even though it was ungraded. It was complete. It had the centerfold, the staples were there. It was not it was not like this is going to get a crazy grade copy. It was just a golden age copy. believe me, when those books show up, if they look good, we will just be celebrating on that following stream whenever that is. We will be hanging out, maybe just doing some doodles, but like it will be a big deal for me. Yeah, I don't even have the Silver Age first appearance. I don't have the showcase. I have not invested in that level of Aquaman. I have an Aquaman 1 from the regular series, which was a gift to me when I was in college. And I bought a beat copy of like the first Mira, and I've been basically been putting together the Silver Age run out of whenever you would see one of those silver books for $5 or $10. Oh wow. It's an 8.5? That's a yeah, I mean that's a great book. 8.5 is a wild grade for a Golden Age comic. Which of course we have to then mention like the issue of Superman that just sold for, millions and millions of dollars. I was actually wondering, I don't know if anybody else follows Paul Levitz's page and Michael Uslan, the producer. They have been doing some detective work about some of those early appearances of like in like Action Comics, Detective 27, Batman #1. And I believe they have said that there were several different print runs of each of those books that they're just now fully identifying. So that makes me wonder if someone who spent that crazy amount of money on that is going to end up finding out they have a second print. I just wonder. I don't know. I mean, it's also one of those where probably because of the rarity and the grade, it probably will not matter so much, but I'm just curious. It's one of those niche things that they spent such a premium on this thing. They bought it for the cost of, a Da Vinci painting or whatever. I don't know how people are going to react after we finish all this Undersea Hero art if we start drawing just random sketch covers and things like that and giving them away again. I was actually looking at some lots of sketch covers on, yeah, finding out that it's like a second print or whatever. Because they're just learning the some of this stuff. Like they find out that an ad in the back of one of these, I believe they said, had coming soon for an issue they were advertising, and then the second print had available now. So it means obviously it was printed later on the timeline. Probably, yeah, yeah. Probably lives halfway around the world in a foreign country. I completely believe you. I've been also interested in just how like the collectible market has changed. Like there are people now that buy like basically shares of expensive comics with these venture capitalist sites where like you'll pay for, half of a comic and you get paid out if it sells or when it sells. When I saw this, I was just rolling my eyes and I had to only imagine to myself that the people putting these sorts of things together are the ones that couldn't do it on like Wall Street and because it was illegal for some reason, but in collectibles it's completely, unregulated. So they probably can get away with all sorts of stuff. And you see people who come from Wall Street and move in on these and short sell stuff. And when you get people that have that kind of knowledge getting into comic investments, they are able to fully manipulate markets. And one thing that'll manipulate the markets too, and I don't know if anybody has seen this video, was that there was this giant warehouse of comics sold, and it was all those comics that you can imagine from the 80s and 90s that were at one time considered, this is an investment comic, like this is the death of Superman, this is X-Men #1, and they had like sealed cases of them just in this warehouse that this one dealer bought, and he was posting videos of it online. And I'm just like, well, there goes any sort of scarcity with those. Like, imagine if he opened a box and there was, because back then, like, you got to remember, stores ordered hundreds of copies. They were not ordering like a dozen copies for the shelf because they just sold more. If he opened a box, or she, or whomever is working there, um, and there's 500 copies of New Mutants 98 in 9.8 condition, like that just tanks the market completely. If you invested in that book prior to the discovery of all of these copies, you know, I'm not saying that's happened, but like based on the era that they were digging through, not impossible. Hey, Jason's here. We're getting visits from all sorts of folks we haven't seen in a while. How are you today, Jason? Have a happy Thanksgiving. Likewise, likewise. Thank you. Yeah, tomorrow I'll get a nice, probably about 12-mile run in during the day. I'll get a good workout in. I'll do drawing. I'll do some work on the production end. I've got to finish up the file for the Ashcan edition because I have to change it based on the printer specs. I have all the pages done. But hey, no worries, Kevin. It was awesome seeing you. I'll message you about the whole survey thing. Thank you for coming in and hanging out, man. Tonight, I'm still working on the Undersea Hero campaign early bird rewards. If you got the early bird special, it came with an ink sketch. And this one I just got a little carried away with because I was drawing, I thought, pretty well today. Like my form is better than it had been in probably 2 or 3 weeks. So I just kind of went for it. Most of them are busts or like partial figures, but this one's a full figure. Some of them are multiple characters, so that was kind of the deal I made with myself, was that if I was doing someone other than Undersea Hero, you would get, you know, more to the drawing. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and as we were talking about, if someone got the early bird, they got this sketch, the book, the cover prints, the Atlantic Pacific print, the zine, the field guide, and then the note with the box doodle. Like that's a pretty good deal. I only got one giant commission that I have to do, and that person will just have to get theirs a little later than everybody else. Although they didn't ask for a zillion characters. I actually kind of designed that reward level expecting someone to be like, draw me every member of the Justice League fighting the entire cast of the Tick or something. I don't know. It would have to fit on 11 by 17. That was the only caveat, but I didn't put a cap on the number of characters. So I expected, uh, the old joke of New Year's Eve in Times Square. That's just what I expected, because usually whenever I've unlocked that to where it was not a cost per character, I've ended up drawing, everyone that ever appeared in, the first 10 issues of Ninja Turtles or whatever. And in this one, it was just their favorite character from Legion of Superheroes fighting the Tick, which was, I'll probably try to, you know, make it a little bit more. I'll probably at least include Paul the Samurai, because he wanted a Karate Kid from the the Legion of Superheroes. So I think like a Paul the Samurai appearance might be necessary. And the Tick with a baguette sword. It's already 9 o'clock. We're cooking. And then, this part I've been doing mostly black background, so this will all get blacked out. But yeah, the first rewards have shipped. I still need to order my packing supplies, but that's all from, I believe, one single source that could get it to me the next day. So I don't want to even say their name. I feel guilty using them, but they sell everything. So okay, sure. Well, the early bird sketches, I picked the character. That was the caveat. For getting it so cheap, it was going to be whatever I felt like drawing. And I've actually been thinking about, changing some things around for at conventions. Like if you'll let me draw any character I want, like it would be cheaper or something. Just some way to mix it up and have fun with it. When I'm drawing tentatively, I lose some of this line thickness that I'm laying down here just because I'm nervous. But I'm feeling pretty good. I messed up the. Yeah, I think I remembered you saying that when we were when I last. What was it at a Halloween party I saw you at? Halloween signing thing before you moved. I think that was when I last saw you. Yeah. Yeah, Wild Time Comics, yeah. And I think they moved. Nice fellas. That was a nice outdoor event with local creators. Anytime a store goes out of their way to do something like that, it was very cool. Things are in motion for the Mega Yard Con next year. It'd be pretty much me and my artist friends hanging out in my yard, grilling and trying to sell some comics, but mostly grilling and having a beer, I think. I'll let the people that are within driving distance know of the details when they come together, as they come together. Should be a good time. Might have a pretty solid guest list from what I'm hearing. I'll make a few phone calls, see if we can get any see what headliners we can get to just come sit in my yard and try to sell some comics. One I would describe as penciled in, but not in ink. Not in ink. We'll look at our schedules and figure it out. I'm hoping to message a couple more conventions this weekend because now you got to book them so far in advance that it's just like if you don't reach out to them, before the end of the year, pretty much guaranteed to get stuck on a waiting list. Even if you're just like either a table only guests or drive in or whatever. I did send an application to one show that I might have to follow up with, which is always a pain. Sometimes one of the people who works at said show pops in on this stream, so maybe that's the way to follow up. There is a chance I'll be doing 2 shows in New Hampshire next year, but I don't know for sure. Definitely doing Little Giants show. Sure. Yeah, yeah. When Undersea Hero is done, I'll be reopening my online store. I'll entertain commission requests. As people know, I do turn them down sometimes just because when I know it's going to take me forever and people are just going to get mad, I just say no, hit me at a show or whatever. Because I hate that. I hate when I want to do the right thing for somebody or help somebody out or get somebody a drawing. You know, um, I really don't charge all that much, and I don't want to, you know, make anyone mad or like mess up my work schedule or whatever. So it's like this balancing act of trying to get everything to work, and then I have to get to the post, pack it up, get it to the post office, get it in the mail. All these things, and I'm just trying to do the right thing. And I've learned that there are times where I just don't have the ability to do it, and I have to say no. And then sometimes some people get insistent. Hey Daniel, good to see you. Yep, Jason's got a great show. I think I saw, God, who did I see that was going to be there? Tom DeFalco will be there. That's pretty cool. Editor in chief, writer at Marvel Comics, creator of Spider Girl Thunderstrike and so many other characters. I actually quite liked the M2 Earth 2 stuff, like Fantastic Five and Spider Girl. Even though, as you folks know, I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan, but I really liked Mayday Parker and that whole deal. I first read it when Marvel was doing those first digests. You know, before DC was doing these $10 editions, Marvel did digest size books. You know, and DC did them years and years ago, and it's kind of a format that's been played around with for many years. But at that time, DC wasn't doing them; Marvel did them, and that was how I read the first 3 trades worth of Spider Girl. I just thought they were delightful. Good old-fashioned adventure comics. Tom DeFalco also, like I said, Thor, Spider-Man, the Alien Costume Saga. I know he did some of that stuff. Fantastic Four, we wrote forever with Paul Ryan. I don't know if I know we've got a few Paul Ryan fans in the audience. Oh, 100%. Yeah. And it's a perfect size. It is. Like, you don't get lost. Everything is pretty straightforward. Artists are all the way around the outside, and then they have, vendors on the inside. And it's a great setup. A model show. He does not an after party, but like a before thing the night before. I haven't been able to get up there for it because I, have the day job stuff I got to do usually, and I usually get up, I'll leave from work, but I'll just miss it, and I stay at the other hotel, like I said. It's 100% comics and art, and then that he has all the other vendors, but then he himself has an incredible setup with his little giant comics, and I still haven't been up to his store, and I really want to go because I never have time. Like, he has so many books on the walls in these bins, like it's impossible to like go through stuff when you're doing a show. Usually, sometimes I make time to like just flip through a couple dollar bins nearby because like that's just good fun. Erase some of our lines here. Oops, I lost the back line of our hair here. Mile High, yeah. Yeah. I drove past Mile High when I was in Colorado for a convention. I was not able to go there, but I saw the store, the one that's in Denver. We're running out of time, so I am trying to get this to a stage of mostly completed. Daniel says he attended an art group this morning, started an 8x8 canvas painting for fun, but pen drawing is my favorite medium. I would agree. I like either pen drawing or I like watercolor, like ink wash and watercolor. I can do oil painting, but it's so much work. It's an unbelievable amount of work. Thank you. It'll do the trick. And for an early bird sketch, I stole the idea from my buddy Joe, but if I had his book here. Do I still have it? I don't know where it is. He did like inside the books. He did little remarks, so I was like, I'm gonna step it up because a little remark from Joe's really like a special thing to get. When you're Undersea Hero, the water goes around the coiffed hair, I guess. I'm gonna have to clean up the pencil marks. You guys will at least get the idea of what it'll mostly look like when it's done. And I'll noodle with it. You guys know me. I'll noodle because I'm gonna want some line variants. And I'll definitely scan this if I need a full figure piece of clip art for something, I'll definitely use it in the future. So somebody might get I think most of the early birds might end up getting published at some point just because I'm spending the time on them. So I'm sketching them so I can reuse them for stuff later. I do have some ideas for some shirts. We're going to do like a threadless store. And then that'll have our Undersea Hero merch. I'm not going to do just like piles of random merch. It'll be curated. I just have a few, like, I think solid ideas. The hope is that when somebody gets a drawing from me, it's as close as I can get it to something that they would see in a book on a shelf. When it's an at-home piece. When I'm at a show, there's so many factors involved of like, the stress, the light, the everything. So it's a lot harder for me to draw at shows. So, not saying it's super easy to draw at home, but it's easier. But I want someone to open. I just really like my real hope is that somebody opens up their pack when they get it, and it just really makes them happy, even though it took me so long. And I hope they feel like they got what they more than what they paid for. That's the dream. And the other, like I said last time, is that after they read the book, I would be thrilled if someone was moving and instead of putting my book in the pile of take to Goodwill or whatever or leave by dumpster, mine goes into a box to get moved. And that's a high bar. It's a high bar, having moved as many times as I have in my life, knowing the pain that it is. All right. Well, it's not quite done, but we got real close. Because I'm going to go in and I'm going to flatten out all this ink here so that it's nice and smooth. Finish erasing things. I'm going to flatten this out and then. But there we go. From beginning to end, a sketch of Undersea Hero. So I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for hanging out with me on Thanksgiving Eve. It was great seeing people I haven't seen in a while. That's funny, the old comic with the lady diving, but the goofed on her hair and her hand. That's funny. You see stuff like that from time to time, and I'm sure I'll mess it up. Like he's moving forward, but if you notice, like in water, a shower curtain. That's a good idea. Thanks, Jason. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy if you have time off. Enjoy your day off. If you don't have the day off, I hope it's an easy work day for you. And I hope to see you next week. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.